This is the plaintiff, Norman Hauptmann. He says the defendant agreed to buy his laptop computer from him, paid him some money but owes him the balance, plus penalties and late fees. He has what he thinks is an ironclad contract, is looking forward to presenting the judge with all the facts in this case, and is suing for $2,046 for all he's owed. This is the defendant, Trevor Wilkinson. He says he helped the plaintiff on a production he was trying to produce, did all kinds of editing for him, and was never paid what he was owed for his work. Isn't it now a coincidence the plaintiff suing him for the exact same amount as his bill? Bottom line, bogus claim. End of case. Bang the gavel, please. He's accused of not computing completely.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff claims the defendant agreed to buy his laptop and won't pay up. But the defendant says the suit is bogus because the plaintiff owed him money. It's the case of the laptop dance.
Norman Hauptmann. Okay. You are suing Trevor Wilkinson for $2,046, an $800 balance he owes you on a computer he bought from you, and $1,246 in late fees.
Yes.
For not making those payments. Okay, what happened?
Mr. Trevor and I did some creative work for which I paid him in full.
And what was that?
It was a superhero that is owned by me, intellectual property. We did some creative work around Bronx County Court.
Tell me what it is. I'm curious.
Captain Nutrition is the name of the superhero.
I need that superhero in my house. Captain Nutrition. Okay.
We were trying to promote every day, one day a week in America would be called Captain Nutrition Day, where you eat only the best foods, not processed. So he filmed me. We agreed I'd pay him $50 minimum or maximum, actually. And we went up to the steps of the county court. I danced up there with some music, and it was fun.
Do you have a video for me?
Yeah, it might be.
You have a video? I would love to see it. Can I see it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, in my house, my children ate from the orange food group. That would be Cheetos, macaroni and cheese, chicken nugget. Everything looks the exact same color. I try so hard.
Hey! Hey, you! And throw it in the trash. Now! Let's go!
Okay. All right. So you hire him to do the creative behind this, and what happens to that? Do you have an agreement in writing with him about who was going to do what?
Yes, I.
And that's Douglas, please. Wait, you can stay where you are.
Right. $150 he agreed was paid in full for that creative work. He signed off on it.
What was your understanding of what you were being hired to do?
All right. I met him in church. I was a musician in church.
Okay.
And I said to him that I do music and production and stuff. So he told me he want a production done. And he said, all right, I need a website. I need a radio, online radio. What else you need? You need a whole lot of production. So I said, all right, if I do the whole thing and they do additional like editing and all that, it can cost you money, you know?
Yeah.
So I charged him like $1,000.
Well, where's the contract that says you're going to get paid $1,000? I'm just looking at a contract that says that he's going to pay you as he goes an hourly rate of $13.
But he didn't put in the writing.
So then, according to you think that this is going to lead to $1,000 worth of work, right?
We discussed it. Yeah, we discussed that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, as it ends up happening, after he sees the production, he decides to ditch it, right?
He just stopped production.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he stays with your MacBook Pro.
He asked me to sell it to him. So he paid me everything except $800, which he agreed.
So you sold it to him then. The agreement was that you would sell it to him for $2,543.22. But then there's some handwriting that says $2,093. Do you remember why the total that he was paying for the computer was $23.93 instead of what you have written here in a subtotal of $25.43?
Well, what's the dollar difference between those two figures? And then I can come up with an answer. $
150. So is it because that's how you paid him the $150?
Then that 150 was deducted.
So that you owed him?
I
For
owed
his
him and
work?
paid him, right.
Okay. That you overpaid him or you owed
No,
him?
I owed him and paid him.
And you paid him by reducing the price?
Right.
Okay. All right. So that explains that.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully that explains
That
that.
is it,
Otherwise, you
yeah.
might need Captain Organizer instead of Captain Nutrition. Okay. Now, so that explains that. Then he paid that day $300, so that brought it down to $2093.02, and then that's what he owed you. He made payments on it, according to you, up to the $800 mark.
Yes.
And then at the $800 mark, what is he telling you for why he's not paying? By the way, you have the computer, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And nothing's wrong with the computer, right? And so what does he tell you as to why he's not paying you your last $800?
He's out of, I believe he said he's out of a second job and he doesn't have the money and he'll get to me. And 4 weeks went by and he called me and he said, I'm going to pay you when I get the money. I said, well, we have to get the money.
Okay.
So,
Well, we don't have to. He has to. Yeah, you have to get the money from him. What's going on? Why haven't you paid the $800?
Because I figured it did work, and he never really paid me for the work I did, all the work I did for him.
What work did you do that he didn't pay you for?
I edited his grandson movie for him. I did that movie.
Are you talking about the one I saw?
No, another one. I did like three projects for him.
Okay.
So it's like every time you do something, I say, listen, you got to pay me for that stuff too, because I just can't keep working for free like that.
Right.
I'm just working. He said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll take care of you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then why did you enter into a contract with him to buy the computer at a certain price?
But I was paying for the computer.
Instead of settling your own debt with him. Like, basically you're saying, yeah, I agree, Judge. I wrote a contract. I signed a contract where it says I'm going to pay $2,300, but I was just kidding. I don't really want to pay $2,300. I'm going to deduct. I'm going to get my money come hell or high water. But I'm not going to go to court and sue him over it. I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to say I'm going to pay him X, but then cheat him out. I mean, how's that okay? You think I'm going to enforce that?
So can the defendant subtract the amount the plaintiff may have owed on a totally unrelated debt?
If it was something discussed before, I'd say
It wasn't discussed. He never, ever said it.
Okay, then no.
What do you think?
No, not if it was discussed.
But if the defendant's right that the plaintiff really did owe him some money, why can't he deduct it?
Because he's not going to have the accurate number of how much.
Well, he'll have the accurate number. He's just trying to get over on the guy. That's the point. Going inside the courtroom.
Now let's talk about, for your sake, this $800 that you say he owes you. Says who? You write in this contract where you also say you're going to pay $2,300. You also write that you acknowledge that you've been paid $150 earlier for video work, and that you acknowledge that no further money is due to you. What am I supposed to do? Wink, wink with you and forget that you wrote this? Are you serious? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I'm done.
No? Okay. Now, you're suing for $800, and then you're suing for $1,246 on top of that in late fees. So 150% of the actual debt owed you want in late fees. On account of what?
on account of that, I told Trevor that I'm giving you an installment purchase with no interest. I'm waiting for your money. I'm waiting for my money, and I want $10 above every day you're late from May 18 onward. He said yes, and he signed to that.
He did. He did. So it's interesting because you turned an $800 debt into a $2,000 debt by signing that, not so much. And here's why. Because there's a concept, and even though I think that his conduct, I would never do business with him. And I think that his conduct is deplorable, okay? And he definitely owes you this money. The question is, and a judge always has to look at this, when people write into a contract a late fee that is unconscionable, am I going to enforce it? And the answer is no. If a late fee ends up being something like 150% of the debt, that in my eyes is unconscionable. Even though he agreed to it and he said he'd pay it, I'm not going to enforce that because I don't think that's enforceable. It's too excessive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order him to pay you the $800. I'm going to order him to pay you $100 in late fees, and I'm going to order him to pay you prejudgment interest for every day that he's late, statutory prejudgment interest that New York recognizes from May 18th, which I think was his deadline, until today. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Well, Captain Nutrition has won this verdict from Judge Millian. Step in here. What happened?
I think that I was unfair, mate, because I did a lot of work, but never really get paid for the work he did.
What do you think of Captain Nutrition? What Captain Nutrition's all about?
Yeah, I think he's got a good thing going, I like his energy.
Yeah. Would you work with him again?
No, I won't work with him again. No.
Okay. All right. Head right around the corner here. Good luck. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Nutrition. Congratulations on winning your case. Tell us about how the Captain Nutrition thing is going.
We're going to do a script, a full script of a movie. I met somebody who took schooling on how to write a script, and it's going to be going forward, and we're going to get a grant, and America's going to see Captain Nutrition Day, 1 day a week. Eat only the best grown food, nothing processed.
All right, Harvey.
You know, late fees are really kind of a murky area of the law. You're allowed to charge them. At a point, it becomes unconscionable, which means that the judges just won't enforce them. What that is depends on the circumstances. There is no magic percentage or number.